A different date, a different location, but no doubt the same objective for Dario Vidicic and Brighton and Hove Albion. Progression in the Women's FA Cup up for grabs this evening. WSL Championship side Durham make the long journey to a wet and windswept Lancing for this fourth round tie. It's a competition that's been kind to the Seagulls over the last few years. Since promotion to the WSL, the Albion have made at least the quarter-finals in 4 out of their 6 campaigns as a top flight club. Here's tonight the start of another memorable journey. Well, good evening and welcome along to live coverage of the Adobe Women's FA Cup 4th round. I am Matt Drabble, your commentator for this evening. And before we get any further, let's have a look at the lineups for both sides. Starting with the Albion, Dario Vidicic makes 5 changes from the 3-0 defeat to Manchester United at the weekend. Michelle Adjumang and Paulina Bremer come in up front in place of Madison Haley and Nikita Paris. In midfield, skipper Lasada departs for Maisie Simons, with Bex Rayner taking the place of Rachel McLaughlin out on the flank. Poppy Pattinson has been almost ever present this season, but she is rested for Yorlen Karabali. And in goal, Cup keeper Melina Lurk is in, with Sophie Bagley making way. Big news on the bench as well. After 13 months out injured, Charlie Rule is in a matchday squad again for the Seagulls. Durham make 3 changes from the weekend victory over Southampton. Tatiana Saunders plays her final game in goal for the club after recently announcing her retirement. She's in for Riley Foster. Carly Johns up front instead of Hannah Blake. And one change on the back line sees Ella Wilson take her place on the bench, with Abby Wilson starting. It should look a little like this then for Durham. Saunders in goal, Eyre, Wilson, Silicki and Holmes the back 4. Lambert and Michaela Foster in the middle, with Crossway, Heppel and Claypool playing behind Johns up front. Referee for today is Sophie Dennington. She is assisted by Kieran Fiddler and Elora Hardstaff, and the 4th official is Nicoleta Bria. So the two sides take their huddles before kick-off. The Albion captain for the day, Guro Bergsvand, Norwegian centre-back who's performed so well, and no surprise that it is Tatiana Saunders on her final ever Durham game, leading her side out and meeting in the middle with today's referee, Sophie Dennington. The conditions are about as bad as they could be this evening in Lancing, and credit the ground staff for getting this game on. A late change in venue to make sure this happened and avoid any further fixture congestion. Rain has been lashing down ahead of kick-off. There is a strong wind whipping across this exposed pitch. And Brighton and Hove Albion with a real opportunity to arrest a recent tricky run, it's fair to say, in both league and cup, and get back to winning ways against championship side Durham, who are going well in the WSL Championship. 4th in the table, just 1 point off the league leaders though. That's how competitive the second tier is this season. They'll fancy their chances of causing an upset here tonight. Bruna Villamola to get this one underway for the Albion. And before kick-off, players from both sides will take the knee to show there is no room for racism or discrimination, football or anywhere else in society. The Spaniard back into Maisie Simons. And the 4th round of the Women's FA Cup is finally underway for Brighton, Hove Albion and Durham. Yorlen Karabali into Chankovic. Didn't quite reach its intended target though. And Lambert's on it for Durham. Heppel scooping one towards Carly Johns. That will trickle out of play. Early goal kick for Melina Lurk. Last played for the Seagulls in that League Cup defeat to Arsenal. Quarter-finals of that competition. Couldn't really have done a great deal about any of the Arsenal goals that night, such was the quality of them. Simons. Albion under some early pressure. Bergsvand squeezing one through to Chankovic. Karabali. Bremer looking for Adjumang, trying to tow it round the corner. It's good to see Michelle Adjumang leading the line for Brighton and Hove Albion. Had such an electric start to the season and a real impact off the bench with her performances. A fearless physical runner on the ball. Villamala, Bremer. And goes Paulina Bremer. Now Thorisdottir. Durham retreat into that shape. They will look to make life difficult for the Seagulls this evening. Carly Johns with something to chase. Swept towards Thorisdottir. Now Rayner. Villamala looking for Rayner again. Just eased off the ball. Brighton and Hove Albion will keep possession. Bex Rayner, another player that's had to wait for her Albion opportunity. Injury, the real reason that she couldn't hit the ground running for the Seagulls. Certainly impressed in that League Cup win over Bristol City, our first real chance. Villamala, driven towards the back post and awkwardly diverted goalward by Grace Eyre. And she dealt with it. Durham's number 2. But perhaps a sharp intake of breath as she saw that cannon off her knee. It will just be a Seagulls corner kick. And the blue and white shirts can trot forward for the first set piece of the evening. Be an outswinger from the Albion's right. Blue and white shirts gathered towards the back of that penalty area. Now they rush forward to crash the box. In it goes towards the near post. It was Bremer trying to help it on. Seagulls will have another go at it. If you are just joining us, welcome along to live coverage of Brighton and Hove Albion versus Durham in the Adobe Women's FA Cup. 4th round tie tonight. Another Seagulls corner kick in towards the near post again. It's the same delivery, it's the same result ultimately. Durham able to scramble away. Chankovic rolled out of play. Just off the mark. Durham will be able to take over with a throw of their own. It will be Holmes to take. Looking down the line. Thorisdottir closing down and well kept in by Villamala. Karabali trying to drag that back into space. Carly Johns was lurking. Thankfully, from an Albion perspective, Bergsvan was there. Karabali again. Lurk. Dinking it sideways past the Chelsea Academy product Claypole. Simons will change the angle. All of a sudden, the blue and white shirts can get their head down and get forward with Rayner. Chankovic. Driven wide to Bremer. Ola Schlagers. Shooting chance perhaps, just floats it towards the back post where Villamala taps it in. It's the perfect start for Brighton and Hove Albion. Ola Schlagers on the left. Dig to Villamala, who was waiting all alone at the back post to tap home. Patiently worked, beautifully finished. It's Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Durham 0. And Villamala, who's had a knack of scoring in cup competitions, does so again. a third of the season for Bruno Vilamala. One versus Palace, one in the League Cup versus Bristol City, and one here in the FA Cup versus Durham. A simple finish in the end. It was made that way by a sumptuous delivery from Marissa Oleslagers, who took out the entire Durham back line with that chipped ball across, and Vilamala could just side foot it home. How will Durham respond and pick themselves up from this? They have a set piece, could offer an avenue back in the game. Heppel to take, a long way from goal. Just try and spin this over the top of the Albion back line. Looping from Heppel into a really good area. The red shirts went up. Lambert will try and keep it alive. Coolly done by Lambert to start Durham off and running again. Tatiana Saunders. Driven over the top, something for Johns to chase. And Lurk can see it out of play. Well, you heard the cry of Daria Vidicic as the Albion readied that last attack to stay patient, and Paulina Bremer stepped in field, chipped it round the corner for Marissa Oleslagers, and a lovely clipped ball for Vilamala to tuck away. This game could be a real confidence boost for the Seagulls if they are to keep playing the way they've started. Had a tricky run in the WSL. Opponents have been a large factor in that, taking on some very informed teams. Haji Mang couldn't help that on to Rayner. Johns. Now Lambert. Rather ambitious ball. And Oleslagers can see it away. Space for Rayner.
Make it come back, get under the ball!
Maisie Simons. Sweeping one wide to Bremer. Oleslagers had to stretch.
Get across, Carly, get across, play in the gap, Carly, play in the gap.
Karabali again. Threading one through to Ajimang. Overran it. Durham will bring it away. Claypole, quick feet. Lambert. Straight to Karabali. Karabali will have a chug forward herself. Rayner. Vilamala. On goes Bruno Vilamala. Chopped back towards Ajimang. And the referee, Sophie Dennington, will bring a pause to play. Ajimang perhaps just catching the toes of her marker. Chance to pause for both sides. Well, Durham will be fearful of their last FA Cup fourth round tie, in which they took on another WSL team in Manchester City at home. They went down in the 7th minute that game and could never really claw their way back in it. And this is how the Seagulls took the lead in the 6th minute this evening. Oleslagers with an inch perfect ball, and no one tracked Bruno Vilamala, who ghosted in to tap home. No stranger to cup competitions, Vilamala. 12 trophies she won during her time with Barcelona. Club she joined at just 12 years old, and whom she is still on loan from for Brighton and Hove Albion. Will be an uncontested drop ball, which Tatiana Saunders can get us back underway with. Smashed long by Saunders. Forrest Dotter on the first ball. Chankovic picking up pieces in midfield for Brighton and Hove Albion. Rayner couldn't find Simons. Down the line from Caravali. It's just settled the nerves, that first goal for the Seagulls. Looking incredibly composed at the moment. Caravali. Villamala. Rare miscue from her.
With that one in the middle. No, with that one in the middle. She's yours. Get ready, Bex. Get ready, Bex. Go, Bex. Please, the middle one. Go, Bex.
Selecki. Now Saunders.
There we go.
Villamala will apply the pressure to Selecki. It's back towards Saunders. Able to sneak it away. Lambert can help it on. Caravali. Chankovic. Quickly ran out of room. Long from Wilson. First trip into the final third really for Durham. Heppel can run onto this one and could never keep it down. Bounced in front of Beth Heppel. Her eyes must have lit up as that ball trickled towards her. But leaning back, got underneath it on the bounce and sent it over the top of Melina Lurk's goal. Best chance of the game for Durham. They broke well. And they're trying to follow it up with good pressure here.
Yes, Wills! Yes, Will!
Sarah Wilson. Macy Simons can bring it down. Alice Lagers took a chance. Carly Johns lost out to Bergsvand. Wilson. Heppel. Looking back for Sarah Wilson. It was too far beyond the centre-back, who had careered forward to try and get something on the end of that. Melina Lurk with a goal kick for the Albion. A player that spent 6 seasons at Wolfsburg, a giant of the women's game, but didn't really ever break through in the German club. So number 2 for large parts of her career, Melina Lurk. Fulfilling the role of cup keeper for the Albion this season. Heppel. Misplaced pass in the middle, Chankovic. Stealing it back for the Seagulls. Ajimang. Lovely footwork to win the Albion a free kick and get them up the pitch.
Just narrow off a touch, Mo. Just narrow off a touch.
Caravali. Back to Guro Bergsvand.
Shut the gap, Vicky, shut the gap.
Villamala.
Step in, okay.
Rayner back to Villamala. Those two combining well again. Would never quite run for Villamala. Space on the right-hand side for Crothwaite. It's all the way through to Melina Lurk, who could take her time again. Chankovic. Lovely touch by Bremer. Ball a step beyond Najimang, and across came Selecki to steal it away. Brighton and Hove Albion throw. Since that goal, well, the Albion have remained composed in possession. Durham looked a little firmer at the back.
Keep it in there.
Bremer. Nowhere really to go. Chankovic. Karabali. Schlagers again, looking for Bremer. It's well weighted, and there's options in the middle. One of them's Ajimang, another is Rayner, who sent that over the top. But in fact, the Albion have been awarded a penalty for a handball. Sophie Dennington pointing to the spot, and the Seagulls will have a chance to double their advantage from 12 yards. Bremer's delivery, and clearly striking an outstretched arm on its way through to Bex Rayner, who made clean contact anyway. The ambitious overhead kick sails over. And now, Brighton and Hove Albion will have a spot kick. Michelle Ajimang is going to be the player to take. 2 goals this season, 1 league, 1 cup. Arsenal loanee, been given the start in place of Nikita Paris. Is up against Tatiana Saunders on her last ever Durham women's game. Michelle Ajimang paces out her run-up. And makes no mistake from 12 yards. A thunderous hit from Ajimang, who doubles the Seagulls' lead. The second she stepped up, there was an air of inevitability about that. And smashed it home to make it Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Durham 0, and put the Seagulls in control early on. A confident penalty from a player that missed her last penalty in the League Cup against Leicester. An incredible character from a young footballer to step up and put her name on another one, and this time deliver emphatically. Simons, lovely drag away from pressure. Now Karabali. Simons again, confident in picking up the ball pretty much anywhere, Maisie Simons. When she's on form, she plays that deep midfield role so well, just popping the ball about. She started doing this evening. Villamala ran into by Holmes. Didn't get a great deal of the ball. Villamala will scoop it up anyway and shoot towards the top corner, and Saunders was scrambling. Villamala with a vicious effort. Didn't have much backlift. Didn't really seem as though she was shaping to shoot, and all of a sudden whipped that towards Saunders' top corner. The Durham keeper had to be alive to keep it out.
Yelly! Yelly! More! Yelly! Direct more! Get ready, mate.
Another Seagulls corner kick from this right-hand side. Rolled short to Olle Schlagers. Might shoot from here. Marissa Olle Schlagers! Saunders called into action again. And helped over the line by Guro Bergsvand. It's a third for the Seagulls. Durham can't believe it. They're looking at the assistant on the far side. They think that's crossed the line and gone out of play. Olle Schlagers pinged that towards the top corner. It's hit the top of the crossbar and landed back to Guro Bergsvand. The strangest of goals. Half the stadium seemed reluctant to celebrate. They weren't sure whether that was going to count or not. Bergsvand almost bashful herself as she celebrated with her teammates, but it is Brighton and Hove Albion 3, Durham 0. The ball very much staying in play as it hits the top of the crossbar and lands back to Guro Bergsvand to tap home. Well, a bizarre setting for this game and a bizarre third goal. Bergsvand. Karabali out to Paulina Bremer. A long way back for the championship side now. The one thing they do have is time. It is so quickly gotten away from them. Bex Rayner over halfway, wide to the right for Villamala. Seagulls with the bit between their teeth now, but Villamala held up well by Holmes. Bergsvand. Carly Johns has done well. Lambert. Ola Schlagers, whose fierce effort inadvertently set up that Bergsvand third goal. And the Durham throw. Saunders, Ajimang leading the charge. Rayner's there as well. Bremer. The wrong side of air. Still going, Paulina Bremer. Couldn't keep it in play. Goal kick for Durham, who, as I mentioned, going well in the WSL Championship, fourth in the table, 22 points, won 7 of their 12 games this season. It is oh so tight, but right now concern for Tatiana Saunders, who is down on the deck, and this isn't how she would like to bow out if this is to be serious. Brighton and Hove Albion with a chance to get instructions from Daria Vidicic, and what a fantastic start to life on the south coast it's been for the Australian. Ahead of the original encounter between these two, had mentioned that he has the full ambition of winning the FA Cup. Albion have proven they could give themselves a chance to do that with performances against the big teams. Chelsea away, the Seagulls were brilliant. Manchester United at home. Words of the gaffer, it was, that will always be the same, that will never change. His teams aim to win every single game they play. Maybe there's another special FA Cup run on this year for the Seagulls. Last season reached the quarter-finals, lost to Manchester United at Broadfield. Here is that third goal again. Ola Schlagers brought the best out of Saunders, who is very unfortunate, you have to say, to see that hit the crossbar and land back at the feet of Guro Bergsvand. Doesn't matter how they go in. Saunders slowly back up to her feet. 26 minutes gone if you're just joining us on My Albion TV. It is Brighton and Hove Albion 3, Durham 0. The fourth round of the Women's FA Cup. Goals flying in for the Seagulls early on. It was Villamala following on a Schlager's delivery from the left. It was Ajimang from the penalty spot, and then it was Guro Bergsvand from about a yard out. Away by Saunders. Nodded into the path on that right wing of Crossway. Crowds huddling for shelter on that far side. They needed it tonight. The rain has relented slightly. Crossway up against Ola Schlagers. Good footwork, air. Helped on by Karabali. And eventually towed out of play by Claypole. Lurk with a goal kick for the Seagulls. Bergsman to Chankovic. Now Yorin Karabali. First ever Colombian to play in English football. In the women's game, Yorin Karabali. This season has been one of real development and progress for her compared to her first season with the club. She's found a more consistent home in the Albion's back line. Chankovic, Simons, driven out to Thorisdottir. Can carry it over halfway, wants movement ahead of her. Chankovic. Karabali. Space for Ola Schlagers now. Again, it's patient and probing from the Seagulls. Ola Schlagers looking for the byline. Ball only finds touch. Saunders to take the goal kick. Appearance number 15 for her. Recently lost her goalkeeping starting spot since the announcement of her move away to Riley Foster, who started at the weekend against Southampton, the Canadian goalkeeper. Former West Virginia Mountaineer and a successful college career, and will likely take her spot between the sticks for the remainder of this campaign for Durham in the WSL Championship. Saunders again, looping one long. Lambert's, it's been the beating heart of everything Durham have done so far this evening. Lambert. Karabali slides it out of play. Air to take the throw. Selicki. Holmes, miss kick from Holmes. Chankovic with the back heel, and Rayner doesn't have a great deal in the way of support, so we'll slow things down. Ajiman. Chankovic. And credit Brighton and Hove Albion, they're working, or they're making Durham work so hard out of possession. And the away side do win the ball back. It is rushed and tired passes. And they're doing this so well, the Seagulls, just starving Durham of the ball. Simons, Rayner, advantage played. Ajiman's pulled wide on the right. Holmes stood up well to the challenge. Johns comes to collect the throw. Claypole can't control. Maria Thorisdottir. Bergsvans. Thorisdottir driving away with the ball, has really found her home on the south coast. Maria Thorisdottir, in the 7 seasons before Brighton and Hove Albion, she spent in top-flight football. She made just 53 appearances across 7 campaigns, is getting close to matching that already in a Seagulls shirt. Albion's trip forward not coming off that time. Hurled down the line. Can Durham give themselves something to feed off with a quarter of an hour to go till half-time? At the moment, the game feels like it's only heading in one direction. Marissa Ollerschlagers. Durham will win it back. Cothwaite. Chankovic, now Simons. Here is Thorisdottir. Scooped away. Laid off by Johns. Thorisdottir back on it. Rides the challenge of Holmes and threads one through to Ajimang. And it's really well covered by Durham to sneak it away. It was Wilson stepping across from centre-back to cover and take that away from Michelle Ajimang, who looked like she was in for a moment. Albion taking their time over this throw, something they have the luxury of doing with that commanding 3-goal advantage. Darting to feet is Bex Rayner, instead it's towards Chankovic. And the flick on, made that offside. So Durham will have a free kick deep inside their own half. You can hear the voice of Adam Furness, their manager, who's in his first full season as the full-time head coach of Durham. Previously managed the boys' side at Durham University to great success. Paulina Bramer stealing it back for Brighton and Hove Albion and looking to shoot goalward, and Saunders had to get behind it. Just about the industry of Bramer there. Used her experience to win it back and then tried to open up on her right boot. As she struck the ball, her boot has given out on the slippery surface and she slid into, I think it's Wilson that's down. Entirely accidental, but a sore one nonetheless. Not being a great deal for Sophie Dennington, today's referee, to do. She's kept things ticking over well. Over the top of Thorisdottir. Ajimang. Rayner, Ajimang. Neatly back to Chankovic. Simons. Towed towards Rayner. It's wonderful football again from Vidasic's side. Rayner, Ajimang. Round Holmes, crossed into the middle. It pops up in front of goal. And Lambert hacks it into the night sky to momentarily relieve the pressure for Durham. It was so spectacularly worked by Brighton and Hove Albion. The one-touch passing in the middle to get Ajimang away. Bramer, you'll see the offside flag raised against her. It's a short turnaround and a busy schedule for the Seagulls, and This, no doubt, important preparation for the weekends. And a big game against Crystal Palace. Club's rivals at home at Broadfields. 2 o'clock kickoff. Ajimang. Simons. Really growing into this game. Thorisdottir. Bremer on the Schlagers down the line. Karabali wants in on the act. Karabali again. Bremer slightly behind Paulina Bremer. Quick feet from the German. Back to Ole Schlagers, and Ajimang's there. And Durham do enough to see it away. Heppel trying to help it on and winning a free kick. Mentioned Crystal Palace this weekend, then it's away to West Ham, home to Brighton, home to Chelsea, and away to Tottenham Hotspur. Here's another look at that chance for Ole Schlagers, and then Ajimang. It's a brilliant challenge by Holmes in the end to take that off the toes of Ajimang. But if you are a Seagulls fan, home and away, a favourable schedule coming up to travel. You can always find out travel details for games via the Albion website. Trips to West Ham and Tottenham in the WSL on the 16th of February and the 16th of March, respectively. Simons. Flicked beautifully towards Villamala. Out comes Saunders, who read the danger and scooped it away. Delightful ball by Maisie Simons with the outside of her boot. So difficult to deal with when she's playing like this. Her career has been heavily disrupted with injuries. At times hasn't always found her best form this season. Looks like she's in it tonight. Villamala racing down at the feet of Saunders, who can only send it into touch. It is all going Brighton and Hove Albion's way at the moment. Just one win in the Seagulls' last 7. That came against Championship side Bristol City in the League Cup. You wouldn't know it by the way they're playing. Air. Lambert. Chankovic, cutely done. Ajimang. Holmes came out quickly to meet her. Michaela Foster. Now Heppel. Bristol City bring it forward again. Crossweight has Lambert down the line. Heppel waiting in the middle. And gets in a muddle with Lambert. Well, they had that chance fairly early on the counter. The ball squared back to Heppel. 20 yards from goal to Durham. And Heppel leaning back. Sent the bouncing ball over the top. And since then have struggled to lay a glove on Brighton and Hove Albion. Chankovic. Not a ball Thorisdottir particularly wanted to deal with.
That's red, you know that's red. That's 100% red.
And that is going to be Durham's throw. Simons can open up her stride. Bremer Just slowed Bramer up with that ball, Maisie Simons. And now Durham are back in shape. Karabali. Slid out of play. Seagull's throw. Which Marissa Oleschlagers stands over. One of a hatful of summer signings for this new Albion side. Oleschlagers from FC20. Powerhouse in Dutch women's football. Again, he's done ever so well this season. Plays a very versatile role. One of the most fluid players in this Albion 11. Sometimes a left wing back, sometimes a central midfielder, sometimes seems to be playing left centre back. Rotates in and out of those areas. Ajimang. Simons to Bergsvand. Throws Dotter. Karabali teed up for Chankovic, who rides the challenge of Carly Johns, and Bergsvand will step forward. Durham's shape is good though. Ajimang looking for room up the right, flashed across the face of goal and almost ran for Rayner. Chankovic to keep it alive. Ajimang again. Red shirts packed in and around that penalty area. Simons 1-2 with Chankovic. Looking to release Bramer. Another incisive ball by Maisie Simons. Fantastic vision. Looks like the offside flag was up against Paulina Bramer anyway. You wonder what the message from Adam Furness will be at half-time for Durham. Started the game competitive. The 3 goals in such quick succession really took them out of it though. 15 minutes between Villamala's in the 6th minute and Guro Bergsvand in the 21st. Just 2 minutes between that and Michelle Ajimang's penalty. Rayner, Villamala, careless ball, air. Thumping one forward and something for Claypole to try and run onto. Out came Melina Lurk. Karabali. Bramer.
Up together!
To the feet of Bergsvand.
Close the gap, close the gap.
Skipper for the evening for the Seagulls. Norwegian international, whose stock with the national team has only rose since her performances in the WSL. The blue and white shirts of Brighton and Hove Albion. Lurk, Chankovic, Durham squeeze high. Could that leave space in behind though for Brighton and Hove Albion? Oleschlagers trying to find some of that space. Simons throws Dotter. Durham race back to recover.
Well done, Becky, well done. Well done, Becky.
Into added time at the end of this first half. Salicki. Saunders. Scooping one wide. Helped on by Air. Simons now. Rayner. Ajimang. Holmes stood up again. Defended really well over the last 25 minutes or so. Abby Holmes Not giving Ajimang any change. Throws Dotter.
Keep working, keep working.
Onoschlag goes back to Karabali. And that pattern of passing will resume for the Seagulls. 1 minute and 20 seconds of added time to play. Chankovic. Ajimang.
Well done, man. Up, up, up. Keep getting up.
Rayner. Chankovic can turn. Was looking for Villamala. Onoschlag gets a foot in. Simon's trying to sweep up. And Crosswaite can only help it out of play for a Brighton and Hove Albion throw. Jelena Chankovic angled wide beyond Ajimang and out of play, and that should bring us close to the last action of the first half. First half, which has been very comfortable for Brighton and Hove Albion, who have controlled it after taking the lead in just the 6th minute and not really looked back. Check of the watch by Sophie Dennington, and that will bring the first 45 to a close at a wet and windy Annex Elite Football Performance Centre. Brighton and Hove Albion taking the lead early and never looking back, adding 2 more after that, and that means half-time here. It is Brighton and Hove Albion 3, Durham 0.
We're based in there, so I'll give it to you.
I'm going to rewind that and just see. Because when I'm panning right, because my camera's much further. I can't see through this one, I only see a little bit.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Top bands. I'm looking at that. By the way, last time I had my roof under like that, and it got wet. And then flooded basically, so between the lenses on top, it took me 4 days to dry. So here, and top are 2 different lenses, and when it starts raining, they literally go really wet. So you got to put a plastic on top.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for
So,
that.
but the water got in, it took me 3 days to dry.
Oh, God.
And then the radiator.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I thought it because he hit the ball.
Yeah, I think, well, I was already looking at the kicker because I wanted to see who the kicker was.
Yeah.
And so, first time ever. And he just went bounce off. I was just going to kick it.
Right, we're gonna jog to the blue, back pedal back,
So 2 or 3 cameras and there used to be ITNs combined with the
jog
cameras.
into me,
One of the colours, if something goes wrong, we have so many times
jog it back.
had a plug in for mains, but it didn't actually put the thing on.
Oh,
And so many times.
One more time, jog into me,
Not our fault, but we try
yeah. So a lot of things can go wrong.
help
That's the
each other.
problem.
jog it back.
Do it one by one.
Get hesitant, I'll do it one more time then.
I
I love when you
know when you do a tight shot,
and
the
then
camera
jog it
suit,
one more time
and
today.
correct all the speed using the frame tight shots. You're supposed to get a shot of the kicker who will actually kick the ball last.
Yeah.
And when you think it's really to go to the first,
Yeah, I'm the same.
actually
Right, to the blue, we're just gonna skip. No, we're gonna sweep the ground, kick the air on the way back. Particularly you think they have like public restrooms for fans somewhere else. Skipping upper body rotation. Good dog field. That field. Now we're gonna open the gate to the blue, close the gate back to the sideline.
Hasn't really let up, has it? In terms of rain.
It's been just wet enough to get your camera wet.
Oh, I do have a mouth. Come on. Side shuffle out, side shuffle
Down
back.
here, it's just steadily.
Right, karaoke out, karaoke back.
The use option of these cameras to copy cards. They put the card in whatever slot.
Right,
then
butt kick
you have
out,
cards
high
on the
knees
outside,
back.
which gives you an option to put the cards in the zero slot, which is quite handy, but I've never done it. Might take longer than actually going to a laptop.
Yeah.
So
We're
I
gonna
know
kick
the
the
laptop
door
uses
down to
it.
the blue.
Yeah.
Jog it back.
They've got the same cameras. So
Yeah. Should be pretty simple, shouldn't you?
Single leg RDL to the blue.
Second angle.
Jog it back.
Even more on the attacking end as well.
Then we'll do our heel taps. Jog it back. Sorry, she knew she was getting something. Right, A-frame pops. Jog it back. Dribbles.
You can't even get the top of it.
Yeah.
When you raise it up, landing, and it goes up, and if the wind is above 70 miles an hour, you can't basically use it just
Oh, really?
Do forward, back, accelerate to the blue.
But it was so literally every little bit of wind, so
Yeah.
a little bit,
Right,
just shakes.
accelerate to the blue.
It's probably built for decorators, you know,
One more.
people painting
Yeah.
their house and stuff. But for capital lights, absolutely solid second.
Side to side, accelerate to the blue.
Literally,
Go.
cameras out, and the handles up outside the bottom. Yeah, that time. So I have to raise the handle up so it doesn't hit basically.
Yeah.
So it keeps rolling.
Yeah. Oh, and Robin to one, it was like keep the organs from them.
Balls.
Yeah, keep it.
There. Sorry? When's this one coming?
Welcome back to second half coverage of the fourth round of the Adobe Women's FA Cup. Brighton and Hove Albion taking on Durham, whom they lead 3-0 at the break, courtesy of Villamala, Ajimang and Bergsvand, who all notched in that first 45. Lots of work for the championship side to do. For Brighton and Hove Albion, all about managing the next 45. Professionalism, seeing it out, avoiding injury, and preparing themselves for the weekend against Crystal Palace. Dario Vidicic will be delighted with what he's seen. Still in conversation with Maria Thorisdottir over some slight tweaks for this second half before we get back underway. Wonder whether some in that Albion bench might fancy their chances of getting on. Madison Haley pictured there, trotting towards the dugout. Seagulls trying to stay warm on a bitterly cold and damp evening here in Lancing. A reminder, if you needed it, or if you're slightly confused, rejoining us for the second half, that this game moved at late notice due to the conditions in Crawley and the fears over the Broadfield Stadium pitch, and the ground staff at Lancing doing an excellent job in making sure this one has been playable for tonight. That is why this game is being played at the training ground of the Albion, in front of a slightly smaller crowd. Double Seagulls switch then. First, Diana Stefanovic will get 45 minutes in her return from injury. She grows in confidence, she's onto the pitch, and so too is Nikita Paris, who is coming on for Michelle Ajimang, one of the scorers in the first half. So Paris and Stefanovic on. And we join that huddle to the right of the halfway line. Nikita Paris, a player of such quality. 6 goals in all competitions this year. Looks like it's Paulina Bremer and Ajimang, the two that have gone off for the Seagulls. No sign yet of any Durham changes. No Bremer into view. So Durham to get the second half underway. Beth Heppel in the middle, rolled back to Foster. 45 minutes between Brighton and Hove Albion and a trip to Aston Villa in the 5th round. The winner of this tie taking on the Villains away from home.
Just give us a bit of depth, Beth. Beth, drop.
Carabali.
Drop.
Confirmation that it's Jelena Chankovic that's gone off rather for Stefanovic, and it was Paris coming on for Ajimang. Carabali.
Hold on.
Sideways to Bremer. Stefanovic. Back to Bergsvand. Thorisdottir can open up. I mentioned it in the first half, but something the Seagulls did so well is tire Durham out with these long spells of possession. Simons. Rayner to run onto it and drill it low and hard across the face of goal. Bremer. Carabali. Forced away from shooting for a moment. Wouldn't run kindly for her to open up on that right foot. But it will stay with Brighton and Hove Albion. Simons, Villamala.
Stay disciplined.
Simons scooping one over the top, too much on it, and it skims off the wet surface and behind. Durham still fighting. You can see that in the body language. And they will have a goal kick. Get their foot on the ball in this second half. coming off the back of that win versus Southampton. Important one, really, because had lost 3 in a row in all competitions before that, Durham, which threatened to slightly derail their building confidence. Before that, those 3 losses in a row, they'd gone 6 unbeaten. They were thrashed by Bristol City, who are their near rivals in the Championship table. Threatened to shake them, but they came back strongly against Southampton. Looking rather weak here, though, as Paris darts between 2 defenders. Karabali threaded wide to the left. Still Karabali. Bremer for support. And seen away by Grace Eyre. Seagulls with their first corner kick of this second half and caused problems from set pieces in the first. Simons will be the player to deliver.
Protect that front area! Come on, concentrate!
Blue and white shirts again grouping towards the back of the 6-yard box. Where will this go from Maisie Simons? It's in towards the near post. And it bounces away again for a goal kick. And I have to say, quality of delivery from corner kicks has been slightly lacking so far this evening for the Seagulls. Tatiana Saunders on her 33rd appearance for Durham to try and float this one long. Away by Saunders. Thorisdottir. Ola Schlagers back to Charlene Karabali. Stefanovic just dusting the cobwebs off. Rayner's able to bail her out and carry it forward for the Seagulls. Paris wants it in behind early. Nikita Paris had strayed offside. Was looking along the line. I think Nikita Paris wanted that ball just to come a few seconds quicker from Bex Rayner. Was trying desperately to hold her run and wasn't able to in the end. Over the top and into the arms of Melina Lurk, or to the feet rather. Just 2 appearances last year, Melina Lurk, in the WSL. And really made these cup competitions her own. Kept a couple of clean sheets in the League Cup this season, looking for one in the FA Cup tonight. Thorisdottir. Bergsvant. Bremer. Difficult ball to bring down, and it skims through to Saunders. Nikita Paris, who scored against the Albion in the FA Cup last year. A 4-0 loss to Manchester United in the quarter-finals. Lamberts. Crossway. Karabali will have to give chase. Foster was trying to put the pressure on. It's dealt with all too easily by the Albion in the end. One high though, better from Durham. Ball wouldn't trickle into the path of either Johns or Claypole. Stefanovic. Now Paulina Bremer skips past there, hangs one up towards Paris. And Holmes decides the best course of action is to send that into touch. Took charge there, Abby Holmes. Over 100 Durham appearances under her belt tonight, number 102. And with that one lofted in towards the back post, just stooped to send it behind. And now Ola Schlagers will have a chance from the right wing. 8 minutes into this second half. Brighton and Hove Albion 3, Durham 0. Second 45 yet to really get going. Maybe that can change with this Albion set piece. Ola Schlagers. Different type of delivery this time. Punched away, not entirely convincingly. Lambert has done well to steal that, not once but twice for Durham. And on goes Lambert. Making the point to Sophie Dennington, that was a high boot towards the forehead of Lambert there. I think she has a very fair case. Kept the ball regardless, but still almost caught some studs to the face as a result of it. This will not be good news for the Albion because Bruna Villamala is down. Well, Lambert took it away from Bex Rayner, who wasn't really aware of where the midfielder was, but still took a fair old swing at it. I think Bex Rayner can count herself quite fortunate. I said at half-time that with the 3-0 lead, one of the main focuses for the Seagulls would be seeing this game out comfortably and without injury. And unfortunately, Bruna Villamala has gone down in the middle of the park here for the Seagulls, and that will be of real concern because she's arguably been playing her best football for Brighton and Hove Albion over the last few months. Amidst injuries and absence, her role in the team has increased. She is down in a heap. Schlagers coming over for a word, as is Stefanovic. There is some concern here for Bruna Villamala. Only hope that this is not anything serious. She's able to get back to her feet, and that is excellent news. Let's hope that was just a knock. Bruna Villamala trotting off the side of the pitch. Durham will get us back underway. Here's Foster. Kayla Foster forward. Turning into space. And looking for Lambert. Rayner to sweep up. Stefanovic. Ola Schlagers. Driven into the path of Rayner. Game being played at the home side's tempo. And they've slowed it almost to a walking pace at the moment. Karabali tried to quicken things up and fizzes it out of play for a Durham goal kick. Confirmation of a substitution on the Albion side. We are going to see Rachel McLaughlin come on. It is Paulina Bremer to make way. We're also going to see Poppy Pattinson onto the pitch as well for the Seagulls. And it will be Bruno Villamala, unsurprisingly not being risked, who departs for the Albion. Rachel McLaughlin on, Paulina Bramer off, and also Poppy Pattinson for Bruno Villamala as we tick towards the hour mark. More rotation amidst the Albion ranks. Rayner. Surging forward, looking for Paris. Forced away from goal momentarily. Rayner again. No shortage of confidence. Back to Paris. Stefanovic waiting. Ole Schlager striking. And it's scooped up by Tatiana Saunders. Schlager has already caused problems with strikes from the edge of the area once tonight. That one too close to Saunders in the end. Paris came from an offside position. Durham free kick. Haven't really been able to get Nikita Paris in the game since coming on. Brighton and Hove Albion, not that they've needed to. Still got so much to give. There's Nikita Paris, as she's proven already this season for Brighton and Hove Albion. A real peak came in that period with Manchester City. Across a couple of seasons, or 3 seasons, scored 62 goals and won 5 trophies. Finished as the league's top scorer. Foul throw given against Brighton and Hove Albion, so Durham will have a chance to take over in the final third. Peppel. Paris now can turn. Jordan Karabali scored her first and only Seagulls goal in the League Cup versus Charlton last season. Driven wide by Stefanovic. Poppy Pattinson can bring it down, the substitute. Maisie Simons now turning in midfield. Bergsvant, Stefanovic, dragged towards Paris. Just trying to help it on against Silicki. Rayner taking over. It's Ole Schlagers for support. Goes wide, in fact, to McLaughlin.
Come on, shooting ups, come on!
Back with Simons. Just recycles possession along that Albion back line. Neat 1-2 with her and Stefanovic, and all sorts of space now for Poppy Pattinson. Delays the cross. In the end, Durham do enough. Sarah Wilson. Crossway. Lambert again trying to hold her run. Wasn't able to do so. Looks like there's going to be a substitution. And it will be the first on the Durham side. Ryan Doyle. That's Eleanor Ryan Doyle. Who's got a good record off the bench this season. Making her way onto the pitch. And it won't be the only switch. We're also going to see Hannah Blake on as well. Crosswaite makes way and Lambert makes way. So Eleanor Ryan Doyle and Hannah Blake on. Will be Crosswaite and Lambert off. And one more as well as part of a triple switch. Number 17, Kyla Novak, is on for Durham as well. And it is Claypole that makes way. So pretty much the entire three playing behind Carly Johns rotated now
Come on, play it again, come on!
for Durham. Thorisdottir.
Come on, Ricky, you got it, you got it, you got it, you got it, you got it!
Karabali looking into the feet of Stefanovic. Back to Yorlin Karabali. Durham compact in front of her. Change the angle. Pattinson. Karabali inching forward from that left centre-back position, looking for the run of Paris, who she's picked out well. And Paris can only send it into the arms of Saunders. And Karabali did well. It was a pass that didn't initially look on. The weighting had to be perfect. Just drilled it along the ground into Nikita Paris, who tried to send it back across the face of goal. Saunders right there to deal with it.
Get closer, Hannah, get closer, get closer, get closer! Go on, go on, go on, go on, go on!
Robbed back. Blake. Thorisdottir. Now Pattinson. Smattering of support that was able to get a ticket for today. Started to generate some atmosphere. Stadium normally sees games behind closed doors or with very minute attendances. Slightly different tonight. Simons.
Well done! Well done!
Lost out in the middle. Schlager's there to poke it back for the Albion towards Bergsvand, and again it'll be the centre-backs that see plenty of the ball. Durham struggled to find the reserves to get up the pitch and close them down. Thorisdottir. Pattinson. Schlager has made a run through the middle. Back to Poppy Pattinson, who sets herself and lashes a lovely effort towards the bottom left. It's spun up in front of Poppy Pattinson, and she put her foot right through it. Would have been a lovely finish had that just clipped the inside of the post. Drift just wide still. Brighton and Hove Albion 3, Durham 0. If you are just joining us on our live stream, Durham have given it right back to the Seagulls. Rain has been brought down, and Brighton and Hove Albion will have a free kick in a promising position. There's a yellow card as well. Durham tried to play out, not something they've elected to do often this evening. Rayner won it back, and now a set-piece opportunity for Maisie Simons, and that normally gets a few eyebrows raised in the crowd. Know what she is capable of. It is Foster, Michaela Foster, that's gone into the book. Ola Schlagers is also putting her name into the hat for this free kick as well. It is, if anything, a little bit too close to have enough time to get this up and down the wall, but you certainly wouldn't put it past Maisie Simons or Marissa Oleschlagers. It's a packed 5 in that Durham wall. Will it be the right boot of Simons to strike it goalwards and brings the very best out of Saunders? We know what Maisie Simons is capable of. She demonstrated it there again. Not much of a run-up, just whipped us round the wall as much as anything. And Saunders scrambling across, palms it away. Holmes prevents the chance for Nikita Paris to steal in. Will concede a throw. Thrower's Dotter. Rayner. Loose for Pattinson. Still battling for it. Foster away and did well to win the goal kick as well. Well, this fixture last season, the Albion in the 4th round of the FA Cup, they took on Luton away from home. Only 2 of the goal scorers in that game are even still with Brighton Hove Albion. It was a 6-0 victory. Lasada and Bramer on the score sheet, and then Viatriki Sari, Tatiana Pinto and Elizabeth Turland, all of whom have since departed the club. Was part of a run that took the Albion to the quarter-finals, then beat Wolves in the next round, thanks to a Emma Kohlberg hat-trick. Stefanovic.
Back her up, Hannah! Back her up!
Oleschlagers. Richard McLaughlin, who hasn't really been able to get involved in this game. 20 to play till full time. It's been a very quiet second half, in truth. Thor's Dotter looking for Paris. You concern. Pattinson couldn't get on the end of it. Be another Durham throw. Down the line. Flicked in field by Poppy Pattinson. Rayner not putting out of that challenge. Foster helps it on though for the away side. Carly Johns, a rare touch for her in this second half. Trying to release Novak. Waiting at the back post is Blake. And Blake has one back for Durham. Well, that's extremely well worked. They flooded up the left-hand side, and the substitute has pulled one back in a quiet second half. Durham burst into life there. And a tidy finish from Blake with an outstretched right leg. Makes it Brighton Hove Albion 3, Durham 1. Credit the substitutions from Adam Furness. 2 of them combining to devastating effect. And they went from back to front in a hurry. Novak surging up the left wing, swinging one deep towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and Blake just reached out a right leg and diverted it past Melina Lurk. The clean sheet's gone for the Albion. Now they need to make sure they keep control of the cup tie. Rachel McLaughlin held back. Grace Eyre picks up the booking. Well, they have not given up at any point today, Durham, despite the lack of possession, despite the lack of chances. They've kept plugging away. They've kept scrapping for every second ball. And after tussling in their own half, they swung it forward. Novak crossed in and Blake finished well. Brighton Hove Albion with a free kick. And one thing Durham won't want to do now is concede so soon after giving themselves hope. Oleschlagers in towards Karabali. Nodded away to Thoris Dotter. Simons. Now Karabali. It's the only real chance for Durham since the opening 10 minutes or so. Might have another here. Carly Johns nipping at the heels of Yorulin Karabali. Cleverly shifted away. Now Melina Lurk. You wonder whether she'd just want that one back. It was a good finish by Hannah Blake, and Lurk had taken a step towards her bottom left, anticipating the strike to come in, had to readjust to move back to her right, but still was quite close to the German goalkeeper. Paris out to Bex Rayner. All quite tight and congested for the Seagulls on that right-hand side. They need to find some space. Simons.
Come on, up!
Hello, as quick as you can.
On you, on you, on you! Come on the ball now! Good, stay on it!
Karabali.
Good!
Loses out to Hannah Blake. It is Hannah Blake again on the score sheet for Durham. Notched 3 this season.
Ella! As quick as you can!
Saunders, not her best clearance though. Straight to Simons. Will she make her pay? Not like that, she won't.
Take care, come on!
Lofted over the top. Rush of blood to the head of Maisie Simons. Saw the opportunity. Saunders backtracking, tried to take it, did have options. All about drawing confidence from that goal now for Durham. Long from Saunders. Pattinson. Bergsvan's all the way back to Melina Lurk, who will be gutted about the loss of the clean sheet.
I'll give you 3 at one stage, yeah.
Karabali. Back to
3 in 1 go, yeah.
Guro Bergsvan again.
You've got 2 stoppages left, haven't you? Yeah,
Not quite gone the way of the last Albion emphatic cup victory against the last championship team they played, curiously enough, in Bristol City, where they notched 6. Had to work a lot harder for this one. The way Durham have defended their penalty area has been admirable. And we're going to see some substitutions. It's going to come from the away side. Well, if they have anything like the impact the first slate did, I think Adam Furness would be delighted. Grace Eyre is going to make way. Ella Wilson is going to come on. So Wilson on. Eyre, who's on a yellow card, off for the final quarter of an hour or so for Durham. If you're wondering how we got here, Villamala opened the scoring in the 6th minute. That was followed up by a penalty from Michelle Agimang for Guro Bergsvan's unusual header inside the 6-yard box just 2 minutes later in the 21st. We stayed that way for almost 50 minutes of football until Hannah Blake tucked home around 5 minutes ago to bring Durham back into the conversation. Thorisdottir, Stefanovic. Clipped in towards Poppy Pattinson. Across came Saunders to scoop up. This is the first meeting between these two sides since 2018, May of 2018, the year that Brighton and Hove Albion went up from the WSL Championship. Durham actually won that day, despite the Seagulls promotion. 3-1 win. Pressure coming from the away side here. The Seagulls not doing a great deal of, not causing them a great deal of problems at the moment, at least. Rayner, Stefanovic elects to slow things down and then guides one up to Poppy Pattinson. Rayner in support for Pattinson. Stefanovic has continued her run. On a Schlagers. Throws Dotter. Bergsvant. Rayner will clip one wide to Carabali. McLaughlin to Carabali. Still, Durham's taken packed and the Seagulls have lost out. Novak's given it to Thoris Dotter. That could prove costly because here's Nikita Paris. And in the end, it's a good challenge from Wilson. How crucial could that misplaced pass from Novak prove, though? Brighton and Hove Albion had so many bodies committed forward. If that's towed into Carly John's direction, Seagulls could have been in, or rather Durham could have been in. Paris deflects off Stefanovic. Carly Johns. 10 to play. For the most part, a very professional performance from Dario Vidisic's side, and we've heard the Australian's voice bellowing out from that dugout less and less as it has gone on. Of course, now has his father joining him in the backroom staff as well. Rado Vidisic take the role of head of women and girls coaching. McLaughlin. Here's Nikita Paris, the wrong side of that Durham back line for the first time. And is that tipped brilliantly over by Saunders? It is. A fantastic save. Paris ran clear. You thought for all the world that the net was about to bulge. But up stepped Tatiana Saunders and the lightest of touches just to send that skyward. Brighton Hove Albion corner kick.
Ella, drop in the zone. Hannah, back zone. Hannah, get in the front zone then.
Brighton Hove Albion with the same setup for this corner. It hasn't worked for them at all, really, thus far. The players gathering to the back of the penalty area. The ball sent towards the front of it. Maybe this time will be different. Not before an Albion substitution. Madison Haley is going to come on. And it will be Maisie Simons to make way, who has been excellent this evening. Certainly would throw her name into the hat for player of the match, particularly after the first half showing. Madison Haley, who arrived from Sydney FC in July of 2023, former Stanford Cardinal. He is on in her place.
Come on, concentrate!
Seagulls corner kick.
Stay alive!
In it goes, near post again, and into the side netting that time. Wonder when perhaps they might try something different from these corner kicks. Brighton and Hove Albion. Tatiana Saunders taking her time and doesn't look like she's moving too well. And now Tatiana Saunders will go down and clearly trying to fight on and push on, and her last ever performance for Durham, chasing an exciting opportunity outside of football, the statement given by the club. She has tried and tried tonight, hasn't been moving well for a while, and she might be departing. It's Wilson in conversation with her. I think the referee, Sarah Bennington, asking the question. This was perhaps her most telling contribution of the evening. Saunders, this save from Nikita Paris, wrong side of Silicki. Normally, you expect Nikita Paris to be automatic from there. It was saved well by Saunders. Karabali receiving some instruction. From the Albion dugout. Just struggling with her wrist, it seems. And this delaying things in this Women's FA Cup fourth round tie. I already mentioned that the winner, which at the moment is looking like being Brighton and Hove Albion, the home side, will go away to Aston Villa in the fifth round. And Tatiana Saunders is going to make way. Her Durham career is done. And a hug with Sarah Wilson. And Anna King, the substitute goalkeeper, will take her place for the final 6 minutes or so of normal time, plus whatever the fourth official, Nicoletta Bria, wants to add on. Madison Haley helped into Rayner, back to Haley. I have to say, Brighton and Hove Albion have lacked the crisp composure about their passing in the second half they demonstrated for most of the first. It's been slightly more frantic, a little bit untidier, arguably slightly less professional as well, but still, all that matters in these cup ties is getting the job done, and they are set to do that. Bergsvand. Rayner. Thor's Dotter, that's better. Madison Haley looking for Rayner on the overlap. Heppel trying to keep her in check. Thor's Dotter. And now Rayner. Drilled in towards Paris, laid off for Ola Schlagers, who couldn't collect it. And now there's a charge on for Durham again with Novak. Rayner stood up well. Durham would get another. That really would give the Albion something to think about. Won their last FA Cup tie by holding out, staying firm, took the lead early on against fellow WSL Championship side Birmingham in the third round. That's what earned them this trip to the Albion. Carly Johns, in goes the cross. Stefanovic away. Nikita Paris. Haley. In no hurry to bring it forward. Doris Dotter. Now Stefanovic on that long return from injury to Ola Schlagers. He's performed well this evening for the Albion, keeping things ticking in midfield or on this left-hand side where she's popped up every now and then. Here was Ola Schlagers again. Back to Guro Bergsvand. Chip long towards Haley. And the flag up against Madison Haley. Anna King to take the resulting free kick. Thumped forward by Anna King. Nodded on. Pattinson back to Karabali. Lurk will be closed down by Blake. Coolly done by Lurk just to slide it sideways to Karabali. Durham win the throw. Holmes. Stefanovic got in the way. Foster's done well. Wilson. Novak. Brighton Hove Albion will have a goal kick. Johns knew she was offside, had to let that trickle agonisingly out from a Durham perspective. Well, their main focus this season will be promotion, something they've been chasing for a while. They are stalwarts of the WSL Championship, almost always competitive, and right in amongst it this season, but at the moment this FA Cup tie proving just a step too far. By no means have they disgraced themselves, nor does a 3-1 scoreline disgrace them. Blake. Karabali has positioned herself well. Albion dig it out across the face of goal. Thrower's daughter. Haley. Looking for Rayner. Now Stefanovic. Karabali. Rayner. Haley. Again, decision is just to keep the ball at the moment for Brighton and Hove Albion. Whether the players have taken that themselves and just keep this ticking over, or whether that's from Dario Vidicic, who doesn't want to take too many risks, or certainly unnecessary risks anyway, with that 2-goal advantage and bigger tests to come in the WSL. McLaughlin did well to evade Holmes by letting that run across her body. 4 minutes at a time coming up at the end of the 90. It is still Brighton Hove Albion 3, Durham 1. And time quickly fading for the championship side to do anything about it. They have been much better in the second half. Ola Schlagers.
On the pitch! On the pitch!
The legs starting to go, you feel, amongst those red away shirts. Haley laid back off to Thor's daughter. Ola Schlagers. Stefanovic. Karabali's done well. McLaughlin has Pattinson on one flank. And again, it's backwards to Jordan Karabali. Stefanovic. Beautiful ball through to Madison Haley. Thor's daughter lifted into the middle. Paris was waiting. Wilson got there first. Ola Schlagers. Well, at the training ground, it's feeling a little bit like a training game at the moment. Durham, who have fought admirably, very much out on their feet, and Brighton and Hove Albion just keeping it rolling around as they look to comfortably book their place in that game against Aston Villa. Madison Haley. Karabali. Pattinson.
And again, go on, go on, go on. Keep working, girls, come on.
Bergsvand, long diagonal. Karabali will chase. It's out of play. Anna King to take the goal kick. I mentioned already the next game for the Seagulls this weekend. Crystal Palace, always one that has added interest and emotion. And then away to West Ham in the WSL on the 16th of February. Little gap after that to the Chelsea game at home on the 2nd of March. Tickets all available and ticket information available through the Brighton and Hove Albion website if you want to keep following and supporting this team on their brilliant start to this WSL campaign, where they sit 5th, just outside the Big Four. They have taken care of business in the most professional manner tonight. Paris, maybe to add some gloss to the scoreline. Rayner. Nikita Paris. Deflected away. Brighton and Hove Albion corner kick. Will likely be the last action of the game. And credit Sophie Dennington. Not often you see a referee's name mentioned, but has done very well, I think, this evening. Got every big decision right. And has kept the game flowing nicely. Ola Schlagers with perhaps the final action of the FA Cup 4th round for these two. In from Ola Schlagers towards the head of Thorisdottir, crashes off the bar, still loose in the penalty area. McLaughlin keeping it alive. Karabali towards the top corner. Paris has bundled it in, and there's some late gloss to the scoreline. So hard to stop Nikita Paris scoring. This one should be up. Thorisdottir crashes her header onto the crossbar. Karabali it was that hopefully hooked it back goalward. And decades of Nikita Paris poaching and experience at play there, as she never stopped moving in the penalty area and tapped home from close range to make it Brighton and Hove Albion 4, Durham 1. Such a hunger for goals, such an eye for goal. And she ends this one with a bang. It finishes in the 4th round of the Women's FA Cup. Brighton and Hove Albion 4, Durham 1. The Albion will take on Aston Villa in the next round.